click here. Okay. So I'm licensed attorney in Brazil. I'm from Brazil. So I like apologize for my accent or some grammar mistakes here. As of you guys, I'm immigrant. So um, I moved to the United States in 2019, and I work with immigration here since 2022. I started as a paralegal, and well, paralegal, it's a very, very busy work that you don't stop walking and talking with people and talk with clients. My preference always has been writing and researching. So um, in a very short time, I started just writing, and the attorneys beginning to like my work, and that's where I am now. I began as a legal writer in one, and now I'm doing my work as a legal writer too, specializing in EB1, O1, and EB2 and IW visas, which are like the most complex petition in immigration, in U.S. immigration. So what an immigration legal writer does, they work closely with an attorney, okay, drafting from letters, support letters, memorandums, internal communication, to complex petitions such as the one that I am working right now. Well, you guys have to understand that attorneys have a very busy agenda. You know, they are always in a meeting, they are receiving clients, they have no time to sit, or well, like most of them don't have time to sit on their desk and write a petition that requires you guys know that at least 30 to 40 hours of writing and researching. So they need help. And this is why legal writers are hired to be part of the team, you know, so they can know the case strategy, which comes from the attorney, and they're gonna do the job of storytelling, grabbing all the evidence and starting to write this story for USCIS. Okay. What we cannot do for you, we cannot give you legal advice. Of course, we cannot make a case strategy. For instance, John comes to me, oh, Luciana, do you think I'm eligible for EB1 or EB2 and AW? I cannot tell you that. So I recommend you to find someone that can give you this type of advice. Or, for instance, a person is in the United States and want to adjust her status, or I know for you guys, most of you are from India, I know that is a backlog in green cards. So which non-immigrant visa should I get to remain in the US and then later apply for a green card? So I definitely recommend you guys to find an immigration attorney to do so. We also cannot sign your petition and form. I know you can do this as self-petitioner, but I can help you prepare, of course, but today, in the role that I am, I cannot like sign your petition and your immigration forms. We also cannot represent your immigration court in USCIS interviews and overall act as your attorney of record. Now let's jump to the fun part, to the EB1 visa itself. I assume you guys are in one of these fields that EB1 visa are intended to. Scientists, artists, educators, business persons, or athletes. Before, you guys know that EB1 brings us criteria that you gotta meet to be considered eligible. But even before beginning to do so, you're gonna write in your petition and you wanna show USCIS three main points, you know, that I would say that is an introduction for your petition. Okay, so the first thing of all, you have to show USCIS that you, for instance, I'm using a name here, John, which is very simple, and I can make you guys understand. in a real life. John wants to demonstrate USCIS that he has sustained national or international acclaim in his field. Okay. And you guys know does not imply age limit. We can work with very young people. For instance, I had a case that the girl had 14 years old. So you're never too young and you're never too old to apply for EB1 visa. Okay. So how do I do that? I will bring to the officer a personal statement inside my petition, okay, as an evidence on my petition. It will be like 1 or 2 page personal statement, and I will divide in paragraphs. The 3 or 4 first paragraph would make an introduction about myself, about my career, about my achievements, of course, highlighting the EB1 criteria in a very brief, very short way, just to say, hey, USCIS, my name is John, I'm in this field, and I've been done this so far. And then in the 2 last paragraphs, I would put what matters to the United States. That upon immigrating to the United States, I'm come here to work on my field of extraordinary ability, okay? And you want to support your statement with some objective and like not broad documentation. I would say if you have a job offer, a letter to intent, a letter to partnership, it can be an email, it can be an application to your university to work as a fellow, as a research. All of that is gonna help sustain your acclaim, that you're coming to the United States to remain and to work in your extraordinary ability field. You're not doing something else. This matters for EB1 visa, And then in the last paragraph, you want to tell in a very broad way, in a very broad paragraph and statement, how your work is going to contribute substantially to the country in the future. This opens up to a very, very broad interpretation of USCIS. They don't require you to make this very specific with data and details, not even close to, for instance, national importance in EB2 and IW. They want to just check everything together and understand if he thinks that John is gonna substantially contribute to the US in the future. And then you could do that, you can show that, you can demonstrate that in 1 paragraph only, okay? So first thing I would say, write a very objective personal statement, but with clear goals to the United States even before presenting your eligibility evidence, your eligibility documents to USCIS. So this is the first tip. And then we're gonna jump to the eligibility criteria themselves. So EB1 is whether you have one-time achievement, Oscars, a Nobel Prize, an Olympic medal, or if you meet at least 3 out of 10 eligibility criteria. This is not enough, then by the end of your petition, you're gonna have the final merits determination bar. Okay, is everybody good so far? Can I continue at it? Okay. So let's start by the beginning from criterion 1, which is lesser national or international recognized awards for excellence in your field. So I know John can have 10, 20, hundreds of awards, prize, certificates in his field of endeavor. But how does John present this to USCIS? I would say just bringing the certificate, the plaque, the trophy is not enough. So you're gonna write this to USCIS in steps, in topics. First, you're gonna, of course, show that you were the winner of those awards. I would say if you have hundreds, you just present the most important and you can put in this order. Today, ChatGPT can help you a lot with that. You just put which one of these prizes are the most important in my field. And you're gonna get like 10 or 20, maybe the most, and you're gonna write this to USCIS in the first topic and prove them that you were the winner. You can also be part of a team who won that prize, since you can prove that. I'd say have your name on it. If you don't have your name, if you don't have the certificate, you can always bring a letter, a statement letter from the organization proving that you were the winner of that prize. This is the first part. The second part, you must prove USCIS, you must explain USCIS, what does this award mean? It can be the most important in your field, but USCIS does not know that. So you need to explain then what is this award and how it is granted for excellence in your field. So the second topic, you would explain what does this award mean. And in the third part, you're gonna show them, you're gonna prove them that this specific award is granted for excellence in your field. Some things can help them to figure out this and to understand this. For instance, the number of award year each year, the previous winners, past winners, other winners, the criteria for granting that award. Those things are very helpful to USCIS understand that they are granted for excellence in your field. So this is a criterion that I would say quality is more important than quantity. You do not want to submit hundreds of certificates and awards without explaining USCIS what they mean and why they are granted for excellence in your field. Okay, so in that part, I will divide your petition explaining all of this. If you don't do that, it's very likely that you're going to receive an RFE. USCIS will not make your research on that part. They're not going to Google what this award means. Is there granted for excellence in your field? No, this is your job. This is the applicant's job to demonstrate that, to bring this very well written and very clear to them all what they want to see. Okay, so as for criterion 2, with membership in association in prestigious association in your field, of course you need to show that you are a member of that association. Okay, but how to become a member of that association? You gotta demonstrate that for sure. It's whether this association requires outstanding achievements to become a member, or you are in a level inside the association, a level of membership that requires outstanding achievements. We know that many associations have level of membership. The first ones, you only pay a fee to get in, and the others, you can be elected or you can be promoted to another level. So if this level requires outstanding achievement, it might work for this EB1 criteria. It can also work fellowship in some academic institutions, especially if they are R1 or R2 universities, which are classified as universities with very strong research work. Okay, so it can also work to prove this specific criteria. So the first thing you want to do in this part is demonstrate that the association is in your field of endeavor. Okay, you wouldn't want to bring any type of association that cannot be related on what you do. So first things is to explain that you are a member, show, of course, that you are a member, how you can become a member. Second part is to demonstrate USCIS that this specific organization, association is in your field and is for people who have outstanding achievements in their fields. So Those type of association that requires only years of experience to become a member. I know this is a very important part, but it does necessarily work for EB1 criteria. Association that requires only payment of fee, or those that, for instance, are required to perform certain occupations. So I would say, let it very well explained. One, that the association, that you are a member of the association. Okay, you can do that with membership ID or statement letter from the organization. Also bring the bylaws of the association, showing how you can become that type of member. 3, you're gonna demonstrate that this association is for excellence in your field, that that organization is part of a group of experts in your field. So you're gonna show that to the USCIS. And then I think you're good on this part. Okay, now going to the next criterion, publish material about your work in professional, major trade publication or major media. Okay. Today we are in an era that social media is everywhere, so you gotta be very careful with that. USCIS is still very, I would say, conservative in social media posts only, even though it's a very, very well-known and strong social media profile. You always have to bring, I would say, like things that USCIS brings on the manual, what they consider as a major media, what they consider as a professional media or major trade media publication. Everything pretty much is available today online. You have a link. If you have a link of the publication, you're gonna go directly to the website or the venue where your work were published, and you're gonna see date, author, title of the publication. This is what matters to USCIS. So you're gonna send that as soon as they have all this information: title of the publication, date, author, and of course, your name as a start of the interview. This is for written publication. If there are video publications, so you need the transcripts. So YouTube, if you have this available on YouTube, YouTube can provide the transcriptions to you, even in English. But if it was like on a TV or something, you might ask for the transcriptions of the video.
Luciana, for this one, since you're taking the example of John, let's say John is an expert in, I don't know, software engineering in the finance sector, and he got interviewed in Fox News. How would you write that up?
Okay. First, I will demonstrate that John was the star interview on Fox News. Okay. And then I would highlight what does Fox News article said about John's work. He must be the start of interview. The subject, the title of the interview is about his work. And then I need to demonstrate USCIS what type of media outlet is Fox News. I know everybody knows that here in the US, but still, you gotta demonstrate that to USCIS. Is it a major media? Problem. You're gonna have to do your own research in websites, demonstrating that Fox News is a major media outlet. So I write, John is a software engineer. The publication Fox News, how software engineers can contribute to the United States, highlighted John's work in that part, saying that. And then I relate that to the outlet, saying that it's a major media. It has a very high viewership, very high audience in the United States. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, so essentially what Luciana is doing right now is the criteria is just one sentence, but it's got like a number of clauses in it. So what she's doing is breaking it into each clause and proving those clauses like a checklist. So first of all, is it published? So you have to give that URL to show that this is a published thing. Then she's talking about it is your work. That is, you're a software engineer, you have worked in this thing, Fox is quoting you on your work. And the last thing that she's proving is that it is major media. So it may look like it is one sentence, but the devil is always in the details. So I'm really glad that you gave that example.
I would also suggest you to, after you show all of this, and when you're putting on exhibits, you're gonna highlight, you're gonna let USCIS know which evidence proves what. For instance, if you're bringing the publication, the page that shows the title, the date, you're gonna tell them, this is to evidence that my work was published. And then if you bring in the data, you're gonna relate this document and say, this is proving that Fox News is a major media publication. So you're gonna put everything well explained to the USCIS officer, which document proves what. Because as Edith said, it looks like one criterion only and one requirement, but it's not. There's sub-criterion inside it. So it's a very, very divided in topics, and you gotta know all the topics and explain all of them to USCIS. Okay, if you bring like an article from Fox News, and it's very clear to me and very clear to you that it's a major media publication, but they don't know that. They want to know that. So you gotta get an RFE for that if you don't prove that it's a major media. And it also works for major trade publication and professional publications too. So it does not require the audience for professional publication, but you gotta demonstrate to USCIS this type of publication is the intended audience of the publication that are professionals in your field, that are experts in your field. So it's gonna be just the second part of writing and evidence. If it is a major media, you're gonna show the audience, the viewership. But if it's a professional publication, you're gonna demonstrate to USCIS officers the intended audience. Okay. Last criterion, judge of the work of others. In my opinion, it's a very straightforward criterion. Okay, you just wanna demonstrate to the officer that you were invited and actually participate in the judging process. You evaluated the work of others in the same field or allied field, or related field. But I see from clients, this is an almost daily basis, that they skip the invitation part. They bring us tons of certificates of participation, that they evaluate the work of others, but they forget the information that they were required to do so, that they were invited to do so. You need to do that. You need to first write USCIS that you were invited to evaluate and to judge the work of others. And then in the second part, you're gonna write that you actually participated. You're gonna bring evidence that you actually went to the day. You went there in the day that you were invited to. Okay, so this is a very important thing, because they can say that the criterion was not bad because you didn't prove that you were invited. It's for us, it can be just a detail, and you would say, oh, they could have assumed that I was invited, but they don't want to assume anything. So you're gonna have to write your documents, and you're gonna write the petition, highlight to them that you were actually invited. Okay. This is this is a very, as I said, straightforward criterion, but you gotta be aware that we have this type of detail that you gotta be aware of. Um, on the other hand, criterion 5, original contributions, in my opinion, is the most challenging of all. Okay. You pretty much have to show USCIS that you are an innovator, a groundbreaker person in your field. Okay, and why you have done that is different and somebody never done before, and how this greatly impact in your field. That means that your contributions are of major significance in your field. Okay. So first, I would say you can also bring this in your personal statement. You can briefly talk about it, about your innovation, about your method. If you have a patent, a registration, you can talk about it on your personal statement. You gotta explain the officer what this is, what type of contribution, what type of innovation you have, and what does it mean. You have to explain to them, and then you're gonna say why this is of a major significance in your field. And how you do that, you have citations of your work, citations at a high level, and you have commercial use of your work. You have letters from experts in your field, for other experts in your field, that can acknowledge that they are reproducing in your work, even though you don't have this formal registration. So this is where I would say support letters, although they are not cornerstone of the petition, they can be very helpful on proving that how John's work has been considered of major significance in the field. So how do I write this? First, I will explain USCIS my method, my innovation, and why I think that it's groundbreaking. And in the second part, I will write how this is of major significance in the field, how John's contribution has been considered of major significance in the field. And you're gonna bring all the support documents with high citations, with letters of recommendations, with evidence of commercial use of your method. I would say Google it, because it, if it is of major significance, and USCIS, you'll probably do this as well. So if it is of major significance, your name probably is going to appear on the internet when you type your type of contribution or innovation. So as I said, in my opinion, this is it's the most hard criterion to meet, because being innovative, being a groundbreaker is not for everyone, but this is what USCIS wanna you to show in your petition. Author scholarly articles in your field. This also is very straightforward criterion, and you got to prove that you are the author of the publication, of course, of the scholarly article, with your name on the publication, on the book, chapters of books, as an author or as a co-author as well. And then you're gonna show them this is a peer review publication. Okay, it's a very indicator that it is scholarly article, is that your work was peer reviewed. So you gotta show that, or if it is a major national, international conference in your field, it can also work. Okay. This is going to be also for professional publication, major trade publication, or major media publication. But different from criterion 3 is not about your work. It's your publication. You author the article, and it's a scholarly article. Okay. So this is where the exhibits of your case can be like very, very like hundreds, thousands of pages. People want to submit the whole publication. You don't need to do that. If you have the abstract, which shows the name of the publication, the venue of the publication, and your name, of course, you only gonna need the abstract. And we had no problem with that. So John will need to write that, of course, he was the author of the publication, and that publication, the title of publication was in his field, and where it was published uh, in an academic journal, in an academic book. It was a chapter of book. It was peer reviewed. All of this type of information you're gonna bring to USCIS. Do you have any questions, Edith? Can I jump to the next?
Yes, what I would say, Luciana, is with the interest of time, because we really want folks to have an opportunity to talk with you directly. How about we skip number 7, which is display of work in artistic exhibitions, because I don't think we have any artists in the house unless you're a painter. Please raise your hand.
One thing that is very important on this part, I would say,
Yeah.
just to wrap up, you can use your exhibition, whatever field it is, as a comparable evidence.
Yeah.
So you do not lose this criterion. You can work with a bonus criterion showing that you can compare exhibitions for scientists and athletes and business person as a comparable evidence.
Yep. If you want to know more about comparable evidence, read chapter 2. You're going to get in more information. But in the next 5 minutes, we can wrap up and then we'll open it up for questions. If you want to preemptively raise your hand, you can go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to go through the queue. All right, Luciana, go for it.
Okay, for leading or critical role, I would say if you have a leading role, the title of your position, it's a good indicator for USCIS officer that your work was leading in a type of organization. But I will also recommend the employer letter, okay, showing that your work, you had a leading or critical role and why your work was critical to the organization. So I definitely recommend supporting letter for you from your employer, showing those type of information, and you're gonna explain that you handle that position from that day to this date, and you're gonna show why it can be considered critical in your for that type of employer. And you also need to show USCIS the department or the organization reputation. So you're gonna write a compelling paragraph about your organization that you performed that type of role. So and why they have a distinguished reputation. So and organization longevity itself does not prove good reputation. So you gotta bring awards received by that organization, media publication about them, clients that they have, what they have done in their field. So these are types of indicators that they have a good reputation. And high salary, substantial high remuneration is very straightforward too. But one thing that you have to have in mind that USCIS use the term command, that it has command or has commanded. This has commanded is it can also mean that you will receive in the future the high remuneration. So for instance, a job offer letter showing a very high remuneration, we work to prove that part. You didn't receive yet, but you have the promise to receive it in the future, and it's way above the average of other professionals in your field. Okay, so bring good documents such as tax returns, contracts, job offer letters to prove that you commanded that, or you command in the future a very high salary, and do a very good research, a very good survey. And there is some official website that USCIS bring to you to compare your salary with others in your field. This is a geographical type of comparison. So use your local currency. Don't try to put this in dollars, because depending on the country, this will be very unfair. So it's geographic appropriate survey and position appropriate survey. So be very specific on your position, on your role. Don't put like broad jobs description and then do a survey in a good website with high credibility survey. And then you're gonna show USCIS, you're gonna write USCIS that you are at the top earners in your field. I would say between 1% and 5%. 10% you can try to argue of people that receive that salary in your field. Okay, I think he added criterion 10 is also not directly applicable to many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can skip
Yeah,
that.
it's only for performing arts.
Correct.
And just to wrap up, I don't know if you want me to talk a little bit about final determination.
Yeah.
And I recommend you writing as a conclusion of your petition that after analyzing all of that you send, all of the 10 criteria, why you can be considered at the top of your field, because the officer, you're going to make a final determination. And they definitely have anchor criterion that tell them that you are the top. Because if you don't have quality, you just have quantity. Or if you didn't show that your claim was sustained over time, your case probably will be denied on final merit determination. So this is where the quality and the caliber of the evidence and your track record matters to USCIS. Okay, so they're gonna apply the preponderance of evidence standard, but as I've been seeing, they are every day more strict. The scrutiny is very high on that, and you have to show the best evidence that you can. Okay, guys, thank you for listening. Sorry if I spoke too much.
Thank
This is
you so much, Luciana.
today.
Yes. Oh, please, can we give a round of applause for Luciana? This was, she was not expecting this big of a crowd, let me tell you that. Thanks to my insane email sending that folks have joined. And I'm so happy that you have joined. This is the time that I would ask you to raise your hand and ask questions to Luciana. Luciana, is it okay if we take it to 1:11 p.m. because we started at 12:11 p.m.
No
That way
problem at all.
folks who can ask questions. I'm going to drop the slide deck that Luciana has so gracefully shared with us. It's in the chat. What I would encourage people to do now that we're getting into Q&A round, please be respectful of each other. Ask one question, not 1A, 1B, 1C, and make sure that this does not get into the realm of legal advice. Luciana is unable to give you legal advice. So does this work? Does that work? Gets into legal advice. Will I be able to use this? Will I be able to use that? Legal advice. So ask more strategy, ask more writing type of questions, ask more, how does this all come together into a cake version of my EB1 profile type question? So I'm going to give the floor to Ramchandar and then we're going to go on to Sunny.
Yep. Thanks, Aditi. Thanks, Luciana. It's a wonderful session. My question is basically like to show I'm working in certain field and I have patents in other field. So in any way, does these patents in other field help my case?
You'd say that you have evidence in mixed fields?
Yeah, it's not exactly mixed fields, but these patents are in a different field altogether. Okay, and I'm filing EB1 in a different niche altogether now. So the patents of mine in another field will help my case in any way. So that's my question.
I would say if it's related field, For instance, all of them are inside science or business. You definitely can. I don't know if I get it right, if this is your question, but you can bring evidence as soon as they are related to the same field. Do you know what I
Okay,
mean?
got it. Yeah, if it's related fields, that it makes sense, but it's completely different. Yeah, so may not help much.
Yeah, if it's completely different, for instance, one is in arts and the other one is in science, it will not work on your
Got it.
case.
Yeah,
Is
you
that
may not
what?
get. No, I got it. Yeah. So basically, like you'll be writing these different cases, right? So you'll be having better understanding. So
Yeah.
that's why I brought it up here. And one more thing, what's your take on the Forbes Tech Council? It's for the criteria, second criteria, the membership in prestigious membership thing. So there's a Forbes Tech Council which actually is a paid membership, but there is a good amount of vetting process in terms of inviting people to the Forbes Tech Council. So, do you see a challenge, or did you see any RFEs if somebody claims a full tech council?
Um, sorry, I didn't get, like, can
So
you?
he's essentially asking, so there's a strategy that is popular now that is using Forbes Technology Council as evidence for memberships. So
Okay,
essentially, he's asking, will that work?
okay. Yeah. As far as I know, yeah, yeah. I think it works. Like for Forbes, membership in Forbes.
That's right. Yeah, it's a paid membership actually. So it's a paid
Oh, okay.
membership.
If it's only paid, it will not work.
No,
You
it's like there are two things. It's a paid membership, okay, but
okay,
along with that, yeah, it actually goes through good amount of vetting process. Like they
right,
don't actually give membership, even if you want to pay for it, but people may not get the membership altogether. So there's a good amount of vetting process that goes in. So that's why
got
I'm asking. So you will be seeing a lot of cases of your clients. So did you
it.
see any RFEs from USCS if somebody claims Technology Council as a membership? So did you see any cases like that?
No, no, I haven't seen. And as you said, if it's paid, it can be paid membership, but it also has to be something else. You, you have to prove that you have achievements in your field to be part of the type of group, the type of
Got it.
organization. Okay. So if you prove that second part, that it's not all the people that can only pay and can get in there, no, you have to show something else. Yes, of course, it can work.
No problem. Yeah. Thanks, Aditi. Thanks, Luciana.
Yes. What I would also suggest is looking into this database. Good Samaritan has put this together. I'm forgetting his name. If you do know his name, please thank him. He has punched all the numbers from AAO, Administrative Appeals Office cases, and he has noticed some, documented some trends. And there are certain criteria that are more risky or ambiguous, you can say,
Mhm.
than other criteria. For example, what Luciana said, that original contributions of major significant, even though it is a tricky criteria, it is, and Luciana, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it is also one of the criteria that would have the most sway in your approvability because you're proving that you've done something that nobody else has done. And that, what better way to distinguish yourself from others? But it's also a hard lift. In the same way, memberships, awards, these are tricky criteria because the language that USCIS uses is very open-ended. And when something is very open-ended, it's open to interpretations. And that's where non-standardization of adjudication comes in, right?
Yeah.
One officer can say it is approved, the other officer cannot say it's approved. So I would proceed with caution, is what I would say.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Sunny.
Hey, thank you so much, Aditi, for coming up with this call. It is so informative, and thank you, Luciana, for I mean, I heard some things that I really had no clue about till today. So truly, truly appreciate this, this insightful discussion. I'll keep it really short, and I have a very specific question. Knowing that Luciana, you are from the background where you are actually working on this, the petition writing and the legal writer as a legal writer. Just trying to understand when you are writing this, definitely there are some due diligence, some research even you will be doing, right? But I'm just trying to understand at which point, as a petitioner, my research stops and your work starts. Like, I'm just trying to understand how I can help you come up with a writing for me that gets everything from me that I can find or think should be applicable. And definitely there should be a second level of vetting by you, saying, Sunny, I get it that you have done all this, but this is actually useful, this is not so much. Just trying to understand where does that balance lie, and how I can approach this so that I get it all right. So that's my only question.
Yeah. Thank you, Sunny. What I would say, bring everything that you can, even though you think you don't know if it's gonna matters to our work or not, but all the information, because you got to understand that it's a range, it's a very wide range of fields. So we don't understand all of and everything about your field, about your work. So you can bring, yeah, if you bring us all the information that you can, just for us to understand what you do as a work, this will be very helpful on our research. And I would say this, you save time, for everyone. When we are doing our research at the office, if you will already have what you provided to us, this will be greatly appreciated, because we're gonna know where we are going. Do you understand what I mean? So,
Perfect. It makes complete sense. Thank you so much. Thank
so
you.
yeah,
I just wanted to understand that no, it is not just judged by me, not just by you. It's a balance between the two
yes,
so that yeah,
yes,
I
it's a
get it.
team for sure.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Mm.
Appreciate it. This clarifies my question. Thank you.
You're
So,
welcome.
Sunny, sorry, Luciana, when folks come and work with you, and there's a back and forth, right? Like they're sending you things, you're asking them things.
Yeah.
Do you ask them to go ahead and like get more accomplishments, or do you spend more time asking them more information about the accomplishments they have?
I would say accomplishments that meet all the steps of the criterion. Because more research about the accomplishment, we can pretty much find a lot of things online today,
Hmm.
and we can definitely get it stronger by doing that. But would say what the back and forth is more about, okay, this is not looking to me that is a national, at least nationally award recognized. This looks to me that is a local award. So please bring me more information that although it's a local award, it is recognized on a national level.
Hmm.
I cannot find this information. Okay, so this is one example of back and forth that we always have. Okay.
Got it. So
Yeah.
somebody asked a question. They were in a YouTube podcast. Would that count toward major media? So the you have to show to Luciana how YouTube can be considered as major media in that context. Like, how would you argue for that? And
Yeah.
give that leg up to Luciana so that she can build off of it, or take you away from it instead of like giving a criteria evidence match when there is none.
Okay. I've worked in a lot of cases who they claimed like YouTube channels as a major media. I would say I would argue numbers of subscriptions, numbers of viewers. USCIS has an update on the policy manual specifically about YouTube channels. And I would say that if you prove that they have major audience and a kind of impact in what they do, yeah, maybe they can consider as a major media.
Yep. No straightforward answer. There is never a straightforward answer. That's the thing. Gangadhar.
Still very skeptical about it, I noticed, but they can consider for sure.
Yeah. Gangadhar, go for it.
Hi. Thank you, Aditi, for arranging the session, and thank you, Luciana, for preparing the nice slides. And normally, everybody try to get the quantity, but not the quality. And the do's and don'ts will help actually. Okay, thank you. My question is, I think you briefly answered on the award, local award, converting local award to the international awards. On the same line, I do have from the previous organizations, which they gave me a team awards and the individual awards also, but I built the profile over the few years and got award for the company, but that's not on my name, it's a company, but only the award piece is there, the award logo. So I little bit unclear, can I show the previous awards also along with the letter? There was a clear explanation for the previous awards, for the company awards that they gave me.
Yes,
And
okay.
yeah, go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
Finish your question. I thought you
And then I can also add the recent company award, but that company award they did not give an explanation. There is no proof, but the award proof is there actually. The logo what they gave, the company director or somebody can authorize that this award has come to so and so on project, and here the person's contribution is towards this awards. Or can we give that explanation to meet the awards category or no?
Yeah. If it's a company award, you will need for sure a statement letter that, like, if the company received the awards, what do you mean? You need a statement letter proving that you were like essential part of the team in receiving that award. The same is true for local awards. You gotta bring a statement letter from the organization that even though it's a local award, the organization has national reputation, and that type of award is recognized on a national level. So a very good statement letter, detailed statement letter from your company explaining that you were a key part of that team in receiving the award. Yeah, it definitely will help on meeting this criteria. Is that what you asked? Did I miss something?
Yeah, I think I mean the recent company awards is because of the previous experience built. The same awards also, I think I have to convert local to the international. I have to connect the dots, I think. Yeah, I'll thank you. That helps me, Luciano.
You're welcome.
And then other question is, I did ask in the chat.
We have to move on. We have to
Okay.
give the floor to
Yeah,
others.
thank you, Aditya. Mhm.
Yeah. Sridhar, go for it.
Thanks, Aditi, and thanks, Luciana, for the taking time to share your expertise. My question is, in current situation, I think where we are hearing, the individual criterias get accepted by the USCS officer, but the USA officer denies based on final merits or gives an RFE based on final merits. How is the legal writing team adjusting the writing to also address the final merits, to make a convincing argument for the final merits?
Yeah, okay. I would say that it's like a conclusion showing then that if you met those criteria, you definitely, by preponderance of evidence, more likely than not, you are the top of your field. What I will not do is, for instance, you have accomplishment 20 years ago, and then you stopped from a long period, 10 years, like with no accomplishment, 10, 20 years, and now you're showing again that you're back, This can hurt your case, and this can hurt your final merit determination. So I would try to make a storytelling, like a progress, a record, to demonstrate that you've been sustaining these achievements throughout the years. So, but therefore, you can't be considered at the top because you've been meeting this criterion over time. Do you know what I mean? This is the conclusion. This is the final merits determination. And they also say if you don't have enough criterion, for for instance, you have only 2, but as Edith said, you have original contribution and you have a very important award, but you don't have nothing else. They can also approve your case based on final merit determination, because they will say, well, if he has a very important award and he has an original contribution, for me, it's more likely than not that he's at the top. So we can work on both sides. You can have like 8 criteria and doesn't show that you are at the top, but you, on the other hand, you can have 2, but they are very too strong evidence that you are at the top.
Got it. So quality over quantity all the way through.
Always.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Always. Yeah. I am going to put another link in the chat because I'm in the mood for plunking links in the chat today. There's this guy, his name is Andrew Marcus, who has done a fantastic job in showing how he sustained his national interest or international, oh my gosh, acclaim. So what he did over here, if you go down to his screen, I'm going to share my screen over here, put that in the chat. He drew a year by criteria roadmap, and he showed, look, I may not have sustained acclaim in awards. It looks like I have a whole bunch of things in 2022, 2023, but I'm no spring chicken. I have been leading things since 2016. I did get some press mentions in 2012. So you have to show holistically that you have, what Luciana said, a great track record. So it's not about each criteria having sustained acclaim, but overall, are you a top dog in your field? And can you point to data points, valid data points that align with EB1 criteria to make your case?
And you can bring this, you can definitely provide this to your attorney or bring this to USCIS, where you just show us.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a very good summary for them to view, like, your track record and approve your case.
Yeah, make it easy for them, guys. They are also human beings.
Yes.
Perfect.
Dinesh, go for it.
Hey, thank you, Aditi and Luciana, for this session. My question is really short. Like, is it acceptable to disclose a high salary from a previous employer, but with my current employer, the salary is a little bit not on the top of, not on the top. Like, I cannot quote that as a high salary. So, how do you think about it?
Can you repeat like the first part? I didn't get the first part. Please.
Okay, so with my previous employer, I got a high salary. Okay, so but not with my current employment.
Okay.
So how would I play with this?
Yeah, the manual, it says has commended. When it says has commended, you can also prove that you received in the past. Okay, so on your past job. So as far as I know, this will work. Although currently your salary is not considered like high in your field. I will not recommend you to send like salary from, as I said, 15, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's not, it's like 2 years, 3 years, maybe 5 years ago, I think it'll work. It will make the code here.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
Amit and Akshay, go for it.
Right, I can go next.
Hey, sorry, it took some time to unmute. Go ahead, Akshay. Go ahead.
Right, good. Lucian, I have a quick question. Thanks for having this, but you mentioned that original contribution is the toughest criteria to defend, but what would you find difficult when you review the cases? Like, how would we make your life easier? What can we do to give you evidences or story in different criteria that would make your life easier when you're preparing the cases?
You mean for each criteria or just for regional?
Just in general, like you must have been working on a lot of cases and you must have seen a lot of candidates. So a couple of pain points that you might think that, okay, if people would have done it differently, that would make the case robust and also your life easier to prepare the case. Yeah,
if you I think Edith provided this slide presentation, and I being there what we need from you, like the key information that will be very helpful. So you're gonna have your case draft very, 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 fast. If you provide clearly and with quality documentation, those points for each of them.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did Amit go?
No, Aditi.
Go
I
for
can
it,
go
Amit.
next. Yeah. Hey, thank you for putting this together. I had very simple question. So it is not unusual for especially the knowledge worker to have a very long tenure with one company, right? And within one company, you can have multiple careers, multiple roles. I'm in the same situation. So my question is, for critical role, how many do you need multiple critical role letters, or you just need one with all your critical roles?
You just need one, highlighting all your critical. If it is at the same company, right?
Yes, yes.
But if different companies, you're definitely gonna need different letters for each one. But if your role has been critical for only that company, they can put this in only one letter explaining why it was critical to the organization.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's 1:13 p.m. already. We can stretch it to like another 5 minutes and get all the questions in.
I can do it 120. Yeah.
120 is okay. All right. 120, we are cutting off, folks. If we get you, we get you. If we don't, then you know where to find Luciana. Bhavesh, go for it. Keep it short so Yash and Chinky can also ask.
Hey, thank you so much. I have a question on the narrative strengthening. How does one, or maybe get your views on how to balance technical complexity with readability, especially if you're speaking about, say, specialized fields? And on the exhibit mapping, is there an ideal format for mapping exhibits to criteria, like an appendix chart? And should that be embedded in the main petition or kept as a supplement?
Okay. First you ask about technical terms and names for the field, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, this is we're gonna learn throughout your documents and doing our research, to try to best express the technical the technical names and technical parts of your field. And as for the exhibits, what EB1 petitions usually work, you're gonna list your exhibit inside your petition, and then of course you're gonna have the documents attached to it. But what I like doing is like listing the documents on each criterion and link where this exhibit, for instance, is under exhibit A, exhibit B, or C. But I'm gonna list all the documents inside the petition. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna be relating your documents to what the policy manual says on that criterion inside the petition. And then I will divide it into exhibits, A for awards, B for membership, C for published material about you, and so on.
Cool, thanks.
If you're interested, I'm going to drop this YouTube video in the chat. I attended this webinar it was conducted by this company called Journey, Joorney. They help draft business plans for NIW, maybe some letters as well for EB1. But they invited this person. Her name is Mandy Neese. And Mandy Neese was a former USCIS officer adjudicating EB1 cases. Now she has become an immigration attorney. So she was giving first-hand account of how USCIS officers will look at your case. Who are they? What background do they have? How much time do they have in their hands? In what sequence will they look at your petition? And your legal writer is positioning your profile not only to show you in a good light, but also keeping in mind, who is this person? Like, do they have time? What do they want to see first thing right off the gate? And they're trying to align it as much as possible to make it a productive reading experience for your USCIS officers. If you want that insight, I'd welcome you to watch that video. Yash Doshi.
Hey, thank you for this great session. I have a quick question. So let's say I'm a product manager in the cybersecurity field. I have customers, like very important customers who might be like Department of Justice or Police Department or something like that. If I can get a lot of recommendation letters from these customers, is there a limit on how many will make my profile strong? So let's say maybe I'll take like 3 or 4 from my employer, but is there a limit on how many other recommendation letters should I get? Because usually when I read, it says that you should only have like 6 to 7 recommendation letters. Is it okay if I go, will it make my case stronger if I go 10 to 15 letters or something like that?
There's no limit for recommendation letter, but you'd say you don't want to send tons of recommendation letters does not say anything to USCIS. So if they have very specific sayings about your contribution to them, I would say yes, 7 to 10 can be a good number. But if they are broad recommendation letter from clients, I'd say don't waste your time sending it. Only if they have very good things to say about your work and why it was critical to them, for instance.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chinky, you might be the last one, my friend. I think you missed her slot. Rakesh Kumar, it's your lucky day.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for organizing this session. This is really helpful. So my question is, I've been going to different industry conferences and I'm presenting there. And like these conferences, have like prominent figures as well, such as Satya Nadella, who was a keynote speaker there. So if I'm presenting in such conferences, will I get any point, or or will I satisfy any criteria, or will it be considered as a final merit?
It will. If they are like national or international recognized conference in your field, and you were there as a lecturer or speaker, and you can prove that through a certificate, to photos, to letters, yeah, you can definitely meet the third criteria. Yeah, sixth criteria, which is the presentations of your work in nationally, internationally recognized conferences in your field as a speaker.
Okay, and just one quick question. Even the open source community, which is broadly used by different industry, even if I'm presenting there, that can be also accounted?
You can try to argue as comparable evidence and or inside final merit determination.
I see. Okay. Thanks a lot for answering my question.
Awesome. We are right on time. Yash, how do you prove such a thing that Satya Nadella was listening when I presented? Unless you took a video, it's a good memory to have. What can I say? If you can't prove it, it doesn't really exist. That's what USCIS said. But one final question, Luciana. This is something that I asked you when I talked with you. This is a controversial question, but I would want to ask you this so that it is for the benefit of everybody in the call. We have talked at length about what counts, what doesn't count, what is the legal requirement, etc., what have you. But there is another factor that is equally important, if not more. That is your working relationship with your legal team. You can be the best person on the planet, but if you're a dick to your legal team, then they are not motivated to represent you well. Yes. Pardon my French. So I would like to know, who are the clients who are dream clients for you? What are their character traits? And who are clients who will make you reassess your choices in life, that why am I in this profession? Why am I doing this? So I would like to know that, and that could be a good takeaway for folks so that they understand that this is not just about you. There's a whole battalion of people who are working for you, with you. We want to be good partners to them. So the best client and the worst client, what distinguishes them and why?
I summarize it in one word: trust. I think you gotta trust the team you hired and you paid like a very good amount of money to them. So if you don't trust them, you're probably gonna have a very hard relationship. And so just bring what he asked you and trust trust our job. Of course, if you think that things are not working for you, you can always raise your voice and fight for it. But if everything's going a smoothly way, just trust. And I also say, don't get very anxious. I think I always say that USCIS offers kind of recognize when that person, I don't know, maybe the person is a very, he has a very good profile, but he's so anxious and he's not trusting himself. This can hurt your case. So just trust your team, trust yourself. Bring what we ask. Don't be that kind of person that sends email every single day asking everything is fine, or like don't treat your team well, and everything is gonna be fine for everyone.
How many people work in tech over here with a show of hands? Let's see. Lots of us. Right? For folks in tech, you are so used to daily stand-ups, daily updates. Leave that attitude at your job. That's not how your legal team works. Now, this is something that even I had to understand, that we are not the only clients you have, right? Yes, our entire future is at stake over here. Yes, we have been on H-1B for a long time. Yes, we have been held a very dirty hand by US immigration by making a certain nationality work harder than others to get the same benefit. We are carrying that burden, but that does not mean that we become so overbearing to a law firm and harbor this attitude that I've thrown $20,000 at you, you work for me, and have that sense of entitlement. So having deep respect for folks like Luciana, trusting their judgment, of course, raising your voice if there is some sort of misunderstanding, but understand that all of us are working against a system that is so broken, and we are trying to get on the other side out, still alive and still functioning. So please be a good partner to Luciana, or your legal team, whoever they are. I'm going to put Luciana's LinkedIn in the chat. Give her a thank you. Thank you so much, Luciana. You worked so hard on this, and I truly appreciate and admire you stepping up and giving us a very detailed overview of EB1, and being so patient in answering all our questions. So we really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for listening to me. Thank you, Edith, for the invitation. As I said, it was the first time that I spoke for over 100
You
people.
did great.
Please.
You did great. You did great. I'm going to package it all up for you folks, and I will see the letter of recommendation, folks, in like 5 minutes. And I'll see all of you on the next event. Thank you so much. Have a great Sunday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
God.